Good afternoon. We're happy to be here talking to future Olies. You don't need to memorize this information. We will be giving it to you today. This PowerPoint is going to be posted on our Sprague Counseling website. We're going to start off by introducing ourselves. I am Mrs. Hagner. I'm one of the counselors at Sprague.
I am Mrs. Crandall. I'm also one of the counselors at Sprague.
My name is Miss Fillion.
And I'm Mrs. Stanaway, another one of the counselors at Sprague.
So I'm going to start off by talking a little bit about what's the big deal about high school. How is it different than middle school? Well, you'll have 8 classes every week. You're going to have a lot more students at school, a lot more different classes that you can pick from. Your grades and credits actually matter for graduation. You need them to graduate. You have a lot more independence at high school, so you have more choices to do things outside of class and in class. Also, advocating for yourself is really important when you're needing help, or if you have questions about classes, you need to make sure to ask your adults around you. A lot of things to do, more opportunities to get involved. Learning how to manage your time is very important in high school, since you will be pretty busy with all of your classes and any extracurricular things you want to do. And just learning, having that self-control, there's a lot more of that in when you grow up and become more mature in high school. And also your attendance is really important in high school, so you can earn your credits and graduate. We also have a schedule of an 8-period day on Mondays. So on Mondays, you would normally come to all 8 of your classes. And then on Tuesdays, you would go to your first 4 classes, Wednesdays, your second 4 classes, and then you repeat that on your Thursday and Friday. So it's a little bit different in high school, but it's really nice because on Tuesdays through Fridays, you have only 4 classes. They are longer, but it is nice. Kids seem to like that. And to graduate with a high school diploma, you do need to have 24 credits. And it lists all the different areas that you need credit in. The math is super important because you need 3 credits of Algebra 1 or above. So you'd have to make sure to pass 3 years of math to be able to earn a high school diploma. If you want a honors diploma, you can earn that, but you have to take an additional credit of math, science, and social science. And you have to take 2 years of world language. And you also have to have 4 credits of AP or dual credit for college and a minimum GPA of 3.5. So it's a little bit different to get that honors diploma, but you can do that if you would like to. And what is a credit? Well, every semester, every class you take, you can earn 0.5 credits for that class with a passing grade A through D. If you don't pass the class, then you don't earn credit. By the end of your freshman year, you should have 8 credits. So if you take a year-long class, you get 1 whole credit for that class. So you could technically get all of your credits in the first 3 years of high school, since you can get 8 a year times 3 is 24. But if you're doing really well by the end of your sophomore year, you could take a little less classes your junior, senior year if you're working or doing sports. And sometimes kids will take releases where they have a free period to study. So that's really important if you want to have that freedom to do that, to make sure you're on track for graduation by the end of your sophomore year, making sure you pass all of your classes your freshman and sophomore year.
So your required courses for your freshman year, you're going to take English, math, science, social science, which is like a history class, PE, and a health or wellness class. A lot of our freshmen also choose to take a foreign language. Maybe they take Spanish or French their freshman year. Essential skills is one of the additional requirements. In addition to the 24 credits that you need to graduate, you also need to pass essential skills in reading, writing, and math. Most of this is done through your SBAC or your state testing your junior year. If your scores are high enough, that takes care of that requirement. If you do not pass through your SBAC, there are some support classes that you'll take your senior year to help you meet those requirements. You also have a personalized education plan that goes towards your graduation requirements, and that's something that all students do in their advisory, and will help students work through that. So for most four-year college admission requirements, this is something you'll want to check with the individual college that you're interested in, but most of them all require at least that you have a C or better in all of your core classes. So math, English, science, social studies. And then you also have a C or better in your 2 years of a world language. So either American Sign Language or French or Spanish. Your SAT or ACT scores, there's often a requirement around that. Your GPA requirements, most four-year universities require at least a 3.0, and that can vary depending on the university. Most schools want math to be at an algebra 2 or higher. And then again, that number 5 just says to check with your individual school because requirements can vary. So we have a ton of clubs here at Sprague, and they are changing too every year. New clubs are coming on board, but there's just a list of clubs that we've had in the past. Some clubs this year vary a little bit through distance learning, but hopefully next year when we are back in person, you'll see more and more of those clubs. And if you have any questions on a club, you can always check with the advisor. We have clubs listed on our Sprague main website under clubs, and you can see some additional clubs as well.
So if you are planning to play a sport or join an activity like band, for example, there are some OSAA requirements that you must meet to be eligible for the sport that you are playing. So you must pass at least 5 classes the previous semester. So the semester before the sport that you're playing, you need to pass at least 5 classes. And this is based on a semester schedule where you're taking 8 classes at a time. You must be on track to graduate within 4 years. You must have good attendance, so you must be consistently coming to school. And then also some coaches and advisors have different requirements to participate in sports and activities. And so it's important to check with your individual coach or advisor if they have any specific requirements in addition to the OSAA requirements. So for fall sports, we have cross country, football, soccer, volleyball, cheerleading, and dance. We definitely encourage students, especially freshmen, to get involved in as many activities, clubs, whatever it might be as possible, just because, you know, as you're transitioning into a new school and starting off as a freshman, this can be a really awesome way to meet people and kind of just get involved in the school community. So at Sprague, you're going to hear CTE referred to often. CTE stands for Career Technical Education Programs. And so these are kind of similar to like electives that we might have. They are career focused electives, and they're programs that you can start off in as a freshman, and then you can work your way up to pretty advanced levels in these specific programs. So at Sprague, for the different career tech programs, we have auto tech, we have education and teaching, engineering and CAD, environmental science, marketing and business, and physical therapy and sports medicine. So if you go to the registration bulletin, which we will explain how to access the registration bulletin later, but if you go to the registration bulletin and look on page 36, there will be a lot more information about CTE and what the different programs are. But I would highly encourage you guys to take a look into some of these different programs because you might find them very interesting.
Okay, so now we are going to transition to the actual forecasting process and what that looks like this year. Forecasting is the process of selecting your courses for the following school year. So even though you're currently in 8th grade, we are now making course selections that you will take for your full freshman year. To access information on forecasting this year, you're going to go to the Sprague High School webpage, which is www.spraguehs.com. And then from there, you will go to our counseling website. There's a menu and you'll select counseling. And then you'll have an opportunity to select forecasting for 2021. And that website really houses all of our information for forecasting, all of the forms you need, and all of the resources you may need to refer to. And this year, all students are going to be selecting their courses for the next school year through a Google survey. So this is a really good opportunity. You'll have time to make your decisions, think about things, and talk this over with your parent or guardian at home. But everything is going to be on our website through a Google form. And when you locate the form, you're going to want to make sure you select the one for the class of 2025. Every form is different by each grade level, so you want to make sure you select the correct form for your grade. And our whole course catalog is on our website, on our forecasting website. The course catalog tells you what every class is that we offer, what grade level you are when you take it, what credit you can earn, and also if there's a prerequisite. And a prerequisite just means certain classes you have to take in a sequence. So you'll definitely want to refer to the course catalog if you have any questions about classes for next year. And also on this page also shows what our forecasting Google survey looks like this year. And we are asking that you complete this forecasting Google survey by March 19th. So you have time to look over it with your parents at home, make your selections, but we want this to be completed by March 19th. And again, everything is on our Sprague High School webpage, all of the forms that you need to use, the course catalog, and many of your questions can be answered by looking at that. Another important tip is when you do fill out your forecasting form, you do have to be logged in your student account. So it's not something that parents can do for you. You need to be logged into your Salem Keizer student account to complete that process. And as you have questions come up, refer to the website, or you can reach out to your counselor or teachers for more support through this process. And we really just want to encourage all of you to finish strong. Coming to high school is a really big life transition. And we know this year it's going to be a little more difficult because we're also transitioning from comprehensive distance learning, hopefully back into the classroom. So we know there's a lot of maybe anxiety and also excitement about coming to school. But this is a really good time to kind of work on your study habits, your organization, think about the kind of student you want to be in high school and start fresh. And we know it's a big transition, but it can also be a really positive and exciting experience in your life. And I think at this point, we are going to just take a moment or two to actually go to the website and show you how to access the Google form that you will need to fill out to make your course selection for next year. So this is our Sprague High School webpage, and on the left-hand side, there's going to be a link that says counseling. So you'll want to click that. And then that is going to direct you to our counseling page where we have everything forecasting related. So there's a drop-down menu that says Forecasting 2021, and that is what you'll want to click. And then you'll want to make sure you select the right grade. You're currently an incoming 8th grade student. And then once you click on that, that is going to have, you'll be able to find our course bulletin under that link, which again, you can look up information for all of the courses offered at Sprague, including our CTE courses and our core courses, and everything else is going to be on that page. And then as you scroll down, you will also see the actual Google survey. It will be embedded on that website, and that is where you will select your courses for next year. So if we can pull that up as a test, you'll see the actual Google survey that, again, you need to be logged in your Salem Keizer account. And that is going to allow you to make your course selections by March 19th, which is right before spring break. This form is broken down into 4 parts. The first part is just your personal information, name, phone number, email. We ask for phone number just because we're in distance learning. If we have a question, we want to be able to reach out to you and get that question answered. The second part of the forecasting form is where you will be selecting your core classes for next year. And as a freshman, there are many classes you are required to take. Those are your core classes, and you will make those selections. Many of our honors options next year are embedded within the grade level core courses. So you will make those selections when you do your forecasting. And the next section is really where you are going to make your elective course requests. And we ask that you pick 10 from this section. We want you to pick 10 classes that you would like to take for additional classes and electives. And there are many to choose from, but we want you to pick 10 so we have enough to choose from. At the end of this section, we're going to ask you to list your top 3 choices. So of all of the electives that you listed, what are the 3 most important? And we'll try our best to match you up with the classes that you want the most. And then there's a final section where we just have some questions about, do you plan to participate in sports? Are you interested in any summer transition programs we may offer? And then we also have a peer mentoring program at Sprague, so you can let us know if you're interested in being a part of that as well. You can also list questions that you may have about forecasting or your schedule for next year. There's a place you can list that on the form as well. So that is the online Google forecasting form that you will be filling out to select your classes for next year. Again, we want this done by March 19th. All of the website is on our Sprague High School webpage. And we thank you guys again for taking the time to listen to this important message. And we look forward to opening our doors and welcoming you as Ollie's next year.